عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome, dear students of Beniyas Club for Sport and Culture. And this is our first lesson of English subject to grade 9 general. Our lesson today has the title International Explorers. This is the first unit we are supposed to study together during the third trimester. The first lesson of this unit, International Explorers, is Japanese Journey. What are the lesson objectives of our lesson? The students will be able to, number one, name some beautiful places to visit in Japan. Objective number two, ask and answer questions about a trip to Japan, or learn in general how to use question words to ask questions or to form questions. Let's start with our lesson for today, a trip or Japanese journey. This is lesson 1 and 2 in your book for this term, the third term. Question number 1, what country do the pictures show? Look at these pictures, try to tell what are these pictures or where do they belong to. As you see here, this is a famous mountain in Japan, which is Fuji Mountain. And these are countryside forests, which are called cherry blossom forests. Cherry is a kind of fruit, and these are just the blossoms of these fruits. And at the bottom here, you have a picture of kitchen tools, which are used mostly in Japan to eat sushi. Question 2, what do you know about this country? Some people who read books a lot, they know a lot of information about Japan. They know that Japan is a country that is located in Asia, and it is a very developed country, and the capital city is Tokyo. Here we have the new words or the key vocabulary. Number 1, how about? It is used when asking about or when suggesting, when asking about something, my listener to agree with me about something. Example, how about visiting the mall? Or how about visiting the museum? Or how about having sushi for lunch? What about? The same function. What about having some orange juice? Or what about listening to music? The word number 3, stunning, has the same meaning as beautiful or fantastic or amazing. Fascinating. Fascinating has the same meaning as amazing or beautiful. Recommend. Recommend has the same meaning as advice. Our teacher recommend that we have to come early to start our exam, means advice. Culture. Culture is to know a lot of information about everything in the life or in the world. For example, a cultured person is someone who read a lot of books or who read a lot of newspapers. As you are now, you are a student in Beniyas Club for Culture and Sport. So culture is to develop your mind by reading. Themed. Themed means related to or an idea of. Vending machine. Vending machine is a kind of machine that gives you drinks, foods, snacks, water. Mostly it's found in streets and you have to put coins. Wonderful, the same as fascinating. Nature is everything around us, but the nature is a place especially for animals and plants and flowers. Relaxing, like when the countryside is a relaxing place, you can spend a beautiful time in the countryside and you can feel relaxed. Tradition is something that people do for a long time. For example, wearing kandura is a tradition of the UAE people. Climb up means to go to a higher place, like climb up a mountain. Let's now listen to the short conversation or read some parts of the conversation between two friends. Those two friends are Asma and Muna. Listen to two friends talking. What are they talking about? You have to guess what are they talking about. Read the statements. Are they true or false or not given? Let's read together this part of conversation. Track 25. Asma. Hi Muna. How was your summer? Muna. It was great. How about you? It was okay, but I didn't go anywhere. I really want to go somewhere different next year. So I decided to stay at home this year. Muna. Okay. Where do you want to go? Asma. I don't know. I love learning about different cultures and traditions, and I like having new experiences. What kind of holiday do you like? Well, I prefer being in nature. You know, forest and mountains. But I don't mind staying in the city. How about visiting Japan? I went there 2 years ago. It was fantastic. I really recommend it. The first part of the conversation, Asma decided to stay at home this year. She didn't go anywhere. Mona went to Japan 2 years ago. So she recommends or she advises Asma to go to Japan because it's a fantastic place. Mona, how about visiting Japan? I went there 2 years ago. It was fantastic. I really recommend it. Asma, Japan? I've never been to Asia. Oh, you will love it. It's good. It has got everything, old and new. Like what? Well, you love nature, right? So what about walking through the cherry blossom forests? They are beautiful, so colorful. You also need to climb up Mount Fuji. It's stunning. Sounds wonderful. What else can I do? So Asma is beginning to start to be attracted to Japan. She loves to go to Japan. Mona, there are lots of Zen type gardens all over Japan, which are really relaxing. You need to go to one of those. I will. Where should I stay? Mona, I decided to stay in Tokyo. It's really modern. There are vending machines everywhere you go. You can get almost anything you want from these machines. Have you ever tried eating sushi? Yes, I like it. Well, Japan is the home of sushi, and Tokyo has so many sushi restaurants. There are also many cafes where you can have a cup of traditional Japanese tea. That sounds cool, very relaxing. So as you see here, there are many tourist attractions or beautiful places in Japan to visit. Example, cherry blossom forests, Mount Fuji, cafes, restaurants, countryside, and Zen type gardens. Mona, I also recommend going on a bullet train. They are so clean and always on time, and you can travel all over Japan very quickly. Asma: Yes, I've heard about them. Japan sounds fascinating. It's got everything. I can't wait to go. So do you think Asma is going this year or maybe the next year after hearing all this information from Muna about how beautiful is Japan? Let's go back and try to answer the questions. Read the statements. Are they true, false, or not given? Asma didn't go on holiday this year. What do you think? Great. She decided to stay home this year. So she didn't go anywhere. So we write what? Correct. True. Number 2. Asma doesn't like staying in a city when she is on holiday. What do you think? She says that she likes visiting forests and mountains, but she doesn't mind staying at home or staying in a city when she's on holiday. So she doesn't like staying in a city? This is false. Okay. Number 3. Mona went to Japan 3 years ago. Do you remember when she says that I've been to Japan 2 years ago? So this is false. What about number 4? Mona went to Japan with her family. Did she say that? Did she mention anything about her trip to Japan with her family? So this is not given. Not given. Number 5. Asma wants to go to Japan next year. Do you remember when she said that? I can't wait to go to Japan. So she will go or she's going to go to Japan next year. This is correct. True. Now we move to the second part of the lesson, which is using questions and answers, using question words. Our next part of the lesson is to use question words. What are the question words that we mainly use to make questions? These question words are some words like what, where, why, when, and other words like who, for example. We all have different experiences. We have each faced unique challenges and learned from these challenges. To find out more about yourself and others, you can ask questions. Questions are phrases or sentences that are used to find out more information. Example: where is the way to the moon? Or how old is your father? So we are asking questions to find out more information. We can pose a question in different ways. We can simply switch the subject and the verb of the sentence. For example, here we have the student is late for class. This is a sentence. if we put is at the beginning, is the student late for class? So this is a question, and we need a question mark at the end to show that it is a question and we need information. Is the student late for class? So this is a question. Okay. What about the question words that are used to ask about people or places or things? For example, who and where. Who and where are used to ask about person. Like for example, who is your role model? Where is used to ask for places. Where did you grow up? What about what? Correct. It's used to ask about things or objects. Objects, idea, or action. Example, what does endurance mean? What time can we meet? What kind of car was it? All these are starting with what and used to ask about actions or ideas. What about the question words when and why? When is mostly used to ask about time. Like example, when did you come to school? And why is for reason. Like for example, why are some students late? Okay, so for reason we use why. Why did you leave? So I'm looking for information. Why did you leave? And when is for time. When do you usually get to school? Maybe at 7 o'clock. So this is what I'm looking for. How. How is used to show to ask about the quantity of something. For example, how many or how much, or maybe for length. For example, how long, or maybe for frequency or the number of things. How often we use how often, or maybe for the distance we use how far, or for age we use how old. How did she do in competition? So this is for the way. I'm asking for the way. How did she do in the competition? Or for manner. How many people took part in the event? I'm asking about the number. How often does she race? I'm asking about the frequency. Which or whose? Which or whose are used to ask about choice. Whose is used to ask about position. Example, which do you think is more important, talent or skill? So this is the choice. In my opinion, skill is more important. Whose water bottle is this? So I'm asking about the position. Whom does it belong to? Belongs to Ali or to Khalid? Modals. What are the modals? Modals are verbs like may, might, can, could, will, would, shall, and should. They are used to describe or to talk about ability or permission or suggestion and request. Example, can, could, would, should, and may. Can you help me? The modal is can. Would you like to join me? The modal is would. May I ask you some questions? The modal is may, and it is used to express permission. But would is to express, would you like to join me? Suggestion. Can you help me? This is an ability. What about these questions? Let's try to find the answers for these questions. Read the question. Choose the correct answer for it. What is Mark doing in the picture? Look at Mark and his father, Mark and his son. What is he doing in the picture? Mark will play with his son. Mark loves to play with his son. Mark played with his son yesterday, or Mark is playing with his son. because we are asking in the ing form, so we complete. Can you see the ing form? Mark doing. So we complete with the ing form. So Mark is playing with his son. Let's submit. Correct. What about the second question? Question number 2. Let's try to look for the answers. Choose the questions that are asking for information about people. Information about people. So it must be what or who, something like that. 2 choices. Who can take part in the chess championship? What are your hobbies apart from painting? Who was the winner of last year's marathon? When will they announce the winner? So, as you see here, if you are asking about people, the answer here will be someone or some people we are asking about them. Who can take part in the chess championship? Are we asking about a time, place, or people? What are your hobbies? Are you asking about a time, a place, a hobby, or people? Who was the winner of the last year's marathon? Am I asking about someone or some time or a place or maybe a reason? When will they announce the winner? So here's the question of someone who wants to know the time. When will they announce the winner? Maybe tomorrow, maybe this evening. So the 2 questions that are asking about people are first choice, who can take part, and the third choice, who was the winner. In this way, we are choosing the questions that are asking about people. This was the last example for our today's lesson. I hope you benefit from this lesson. We talked about the beautiful places in Japan, and we talked about how can we ask questions using questions word like what or where or when or what. Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.